Calling to order citizens' comments. Who's got them?
I do. You have one person signed up today to speak, and that's Josh Harper. If you could please approach the lectern over here. And you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
He needs to state his name and address.
Yes. If you could state your name and address, please.
Okay. Joshua Harper, 710 Elisa Cove, Laverne, Tennessee. Okay. Not very happy that the agreement with RTA and Kroger has come to an end, and they have not reached out to the community that ride the bus to let them know that these changes are coming. And they've decided to move it to a location that is not safe because it's kind of desolate. There's not many places around. There's no place to go in out of the cold weather. And myself, I have a disability, so I don't drive. So I'm having to arrange transportation to meet me. They can't always be there when the bus arrives. So I'm having to either wait to get on the bus or wait when I get off. So that's kind of a problem because there's nowhere to go where they're proposing move the location. I kind of wish they would have allowed us as riders to let them know that these are some of the things that we do use. And it also helps Laverne for the people that are waiting. They do go into like McDonald's and spend money there versus somewhere else. So I was kind of hoping that somebody from RTA would be here. I don't know if they made it in yet or not. But this is the first I've heard of it. And I'm definitely working with RTA. I'm going to get a hold of them more and make them known that they should have let us know.
Thank you very much.
Seeing there's nobody else on the agenda, we'll call this public hearing closed. Calling the meeting to order, the Board of Mayor Aldermen, January 8, 2015 regular meeting. We have a full quorum. The prayer is by Vice Mayor Green. Please stand.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you've given us. Even though it's cold, we're still so blessed so many ways. We thank you for the new year, and we pray, dear Lord, that as we go into the new year, that we will do our best for our citizens and for the city. And Lord, we're so thankful that we have a warm place to sleep and a place to stay good and warm and food to eat. And for the people that are less fortunate, Lord, if we know anything that we can do to help, please let us know. And again, we thank you for each employee that we have. We thank you for all of our staff, for everyone that works so hard to make our city a great place to live. And these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order business, approve the minutes for December the 2nd, 2014 special meeting and December the 4th, 2014 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion? Approve, second.
Second.
Everybody say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving into department reports, fire.
Mayor, Alderman, the month of December 2014, we had a total of 227 calls. consisted of 2 structure fires, 14 fire alarms, 2 vehicle fires, 2 grass fires, 5 hazardous materials calls, 31 motor vehicle accidents, 157 medical calls, 2 canceled en routes, and 12 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. For the same month of December 2014, our average response time was 3.3 minutes, and our total water consumption was 4,600 gallons. If you can scroll through, we've got our end of the year report in there as well. I apologize. The weather has just got me blah. So I'm up and down in case you can't understand me here. For the year in 2014, I think it's on the last. It should be towards the last page there. One more, I think. Yeah, there you go. Comparing years 2013 with 14, as you can see, structure fires were down slightly from 36 to 26. Fire alarms up slightly. I know that is something that we'll probably address through the year. You know, we had talked about doing some increases in our fines, but if you go back and you look through our fire alarms currently, these are not reoccurring addresses. These are new alarms at each businesses. So even increasing our fines for excessive alarms, I don't think is going to knock this off any, because these alarms are at different businesses and different residences. So I don't know that that's going to help us much. But as you can see, it's still holding steady there at 228 for this past year. Slight decrease in vehicle fires, down 2 to 18 from 20. Grass fires relatively the same, 21 in 2013, down to 20 in 14. Motor vehicle accidents holding almost dead steady at 282 in 2013, 283 in 2014. Obviously, the new contract with Rutherford County EMS and us running a full-blown first responder program now, you can see their medical calls have almost doubled. Well, they actually have doubled. 526 calls in 2013 to 1,176 in 2014. Hazardous materials calls relatively holding steady there, 51 in 2013 and 43 in 14. Miscellaneous calls, same thing, basically within the same range, 187 in 2013, 238 in 14. Total number of calls there, as you can see, is doubled as well, but that's contributed to the medical response. So, but that's our year-end report for you. Any questions on those? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Please.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, good evening. The first page you'll see, we're beginning to get to the point where we can provide some consistency now with our new method of capturing data, our new database, and getting some semblance of some important information out of it, and it'll get better as we go over the next 2 or 3 months. It'll really start to increase and do a lot better, because we're getting much closer to the finalization of the project, which should be about mid-year this year. If you'll notice, this is the November report, and we use the same format that is in the Crime in Tennessee report that TBI uses, which lists the offenses, the numbers, and those cases that were cleared, reported, and then cleared in November. These are the actual Group A and Group B offenses that we had that were reported to TBI. We feel confident with the November report because of the way we've been handling it and doing and reviewing. Now, if you go to the next page, it's the year-to-date, January through November of this year. We're still not confident that 2036 is completely correct, and still having to do some audit there. Chief Lowry had to go in and do about 2,000 deletions because they were duplicate records, and that came from the problem we had with our old Arconics. That was the first half of calendar year 14, and then with New World Systems the end of June, and then on in for the second half, because it was throwing, Arconics was manipulating data to get it to feed to TBI. But if there was an error there, it wasn't a reportable case, it was still feeding it to TBI, and it was duplicating. So we wound up having to go back and manually key into TinCop, which is TBI's very basic software, directly key to them, and also key in to our records management system we had too. So we're still working on trying to clear out some of those duplications, but we believe that we're getting pretty much closer than what we were in 2013 with some of the duplication errors there. The next page is a report we can obtain from TBI on the cases that are actually reportable offenses. And the first one is the kind of a dashboard, I guess you might say, and it's actually looking at month to month, November 13 to 14 on the left-hand side on the table, and then on the table on the right is actually each month, 13 through 14, November to November. It's a fluctuating scale there. You can see that the overall percent change was a decrease of about 31% in total violent crimes that have been reported. And then you can see in the various bullets there the changes that have been there. The next one is in major property crimes, and you can see the same thing here. On the left table at the bottom, it's November to November, it's month to month. On the right-hand side, it's actually the progression from November 13 through November of 14, and it gives you that sliding scale there, and you can see that there's a decrease of about 34% in the reportable cases there. I sang Jingle Bell last month, and I didn't know if the mayor and I were going to get out of jail or not. It was touch and go for a while, wasn't it? Both of us only had about $4 or $5 in the pot to begin with, and it was close.
We'd raise more money if it was to keep us in.
I agree. We talked about doing it and changing that and doing it that way next year instead of getting us out. But let me tell you what this community did. Vicki and I moved here in 2003 because we looked at a lot of areas in Middle Tennessee when we were getting ready to move our family, and we moved our family to Laverne because we loved Laverne. We'd visited and knew a few folks here, but we had looked at schools and the whole area, and we moved our family here because we liked it. And the more we've been here, the more we've learned to love it. Let me tell you what Laverne did. We Jingle Bell with cash donations, gift cards, clothes, toys, etc., food donations. These tables were packed full, and then the training room at the PD was packed full. There was over $12,000 in various items. That's cash, gift cards that were donated, toys, food items, etc., for Jingle Bell. There were 65 families that we were able to help with those donations this year, with 161 children involved in these families. 23 seniors were given food boxes and personal items and little things to brighten their Christmas this year. There were 13 families that were adopted by various groups. There were individual citizens who adopted families. There were businesses. There were city employees and city departments who adopted families. There was one work unit in my department that adopted a family. And I could go on and on and on and on and on. But that's what it's all about, people who were here. Now I'm going to throw something at you to think about, and the community to think about too. I'm the product of a 4th grade school teacher turned social worker, and my mother was county director of Department of Human Services in Sequatchie County and retired after teaching time and state time almost 40 years. And I can remember when there were things going on when I was a young adult with foster children. And they had a thing in Sequatchie County called Santa for All Seasons, and they raised money to provide not only Santa at Christmas, but items throughout the year, there for those foster children. Now, I think we need to have Christmas for kids and seniors here every year, and I think we need to make it grow. But I also think we need to talk about and look at and figure out a way that we can have a mechanism in place with all of us coming together, whether it's us as city employees and members of the community, civic groups, etc., and look at an organization that will be here year-round for kids and seniors, because it's not just Thanksgiving and it's not just Christmas that we need to help. It's throughout the year. And there are so many that fall through the cracks. And I'll give you an example. I may have laid here they are. Friday before Christmas, Vicki and I became instant grandparents. This is our oldest, Summer, and her husband, Jimmy, and these are our two little new grandbabies, Naomi and Zeke. Naomi's 2.5, Zeke's 14 months. They've been with us the last 3 days, and I'm absolutely worn out. They've kept us going. We have absolutely loved it. These children had to be removed and put in temporary custody. And it's not the first time. They have two older siblings that were removed from the custody of their mother over 2 years ago. Mama has a meth problem. The judge finally told her, you've got to do a year of in-house rehab, and she refused. So the two smaller children had nowhere to go. And Jimmy and Summer were blessed, and we were blessed by them being placed temporarily with them. Now, these children, whether they're still here and with us again next Christmas, or if they go somewhere else, whatever DCS decides, I'm sure down the road, and the judge and everyone else involved, these children are going to need help if they go somewhere else. It's not just a one-time-a-year thing. It's all year long. So that's the one thing that I propose to you all to think about as the board, as the officials of this city, is some way that we can look at and work on and pull together a group of all of us to provide Christmas for kids and seniors throughout the year. It's cold. Be careful. There was a media release done about the cold weather day before yesterday, I believe, wasn't it, Kathy? And one of the things I do want to remind you, if you see someone that you know has no heat, if you see someone that you know has issues, may need to be helped because of the cold, the extreme cold right now, please call the non-emergency number at the police department, 793-7744. We need to know about that, and we'll work to try to gather information from them and for them and get them assistance. Hopefully, if nothing else, get them to a warm spot, because it doesn't take very long right now to freeze, whether it's a bowl of water, or if it's a human being, or if it's a dog or a cat or another animal that may be outside. It's very extremely cold, and we've had some calls about animals, and we've had some folks call in some concerns about our citizens too. But if you see and know someone, we need to know about it. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next will be codes. Randolph.
All right, we'll do December monthly report first. The single-family dwellings, there were 11 permits issued for a valuation of $1.4 million. There was one commercial building permit, $240,000. 5 miscellaneous permits, 4 signs, 1 grading, 1 mobile home, 1 commercial plan review, Total number of permits were 23 for a total valuation of $1.7 million. Plumbing permits for December were 11 single-family dwelling, 1 commercial. Mechanical permits, the same, 11 single-family and 1 commercial. Tall grass, there were 9. Junk cars and yards, there were 15. Other were 42. Total number of building inspections for the month were 182. Fire inspections this month were 17. Inspections year-to-date are 243. Year-to-date totals, we'll go over that in the year-end, if you will. Are there any questions about the December? By the way, good evening, everyone. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Alderman. I jumped up here and just ran into this. Hope everyone has a happy new year, by the way, and all included. Year-end 2014, there were 97 single-family dwelling permits, which was up considerably from last year, obviously, at a tune of $16,925,000 invested in this city. 25 commercial permits valued at $10,724,000 investments to this city. Miscellaneous permits, there were 118. There were 59 sign permits, 14 grading permits. Others, to include additions and remodels, there were 47. Mobile homes, there were 7. Commercial plan review, there were 20. Total number of permits, 367, with an investment valuation to this community of $29 million. Plumbing permits for 2014 were 110, single family, 13 commercial. Mechanical permits, there were 104 single family, 10 commercial. Tall grass complaints this year were 1,357. Junk cars in the yard were 114, 558 other. There was a total of 1,749 building inspections for the year. Total inspections for fire inspections this year were 243. Year-to-date totals for impact fees were $136,000 for road, $27,000 for park, and $14,000 for police. Monthly revenue with impact fees total $323,527.63. Total number of single-family permits issued year-to-date were 97. Total number last year were 60. Total number of all permits year-to-date were 367. Questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Randolph. Next, Parks and Recreation, AC.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Those are our numbers for the month of December, which is typically a slower month for us with Christmas decorations and all the city dinners and events for the senior center and things like that. We don't do a lot on maintenance unless we have to, but we got a total number of 38 help desk tickets, which is low for the month of December, but 108 man hours. But if you look at the estimated maintenance, the city savings is $5,000, $610 since we hired the maintenance guy. How we're comparing that is anything that we would have contracted out before, if it's an issue, we'll see what it would have cost us to do that. And since having him in-house, it's already saved $5,610, and that's just in the month of December, which is slower. So I think that position is really going to, pay for itself and then some with some of the other projects that we have going. We had 28 hours of overtime with the Parade of Lights. We have a senior citizen advisory committee meeting January 15th at 4 o'clock. Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee workshop on January 20th. Some of our upcoming events, we have a Martin Luther King Remembrance Ceremony, January 19th at 11 a.m. That's going to be at the multipurpose building. We had it in here last year and it was to capacity, so we'll move it down there where we have a little bit more room. I'd like to thank Mr. Calvin Jones is going to be one of our speakers, and Kathy Hines and our previous HR Director Fred Gaston is going to come back and be a speaker as well. Spring ball sign-ups are in process right now. You can call up to the Parks Building and come up there and sign up. any daytime business hours. And then we have a new website, lavernetiensports.com. You can also go on there and sign up as well. And also in February 7th, our daddy-daughter dance will take place. And we had that at the multipurpose last year, and it was too full. So we spoke with Roy Waldron School, and they've graciously let us borrow their gymnasium for this event. So tickets will be $5. So daddies, bring your daughters out, and we'll have refreshments and cookies and stuff, and a DJ, and it'll be a lot of fun for a couple hours. So y'all get dressed up and come out. Any questions?
Thank you, AC.
All right.
Next, Phillips Finance.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. Got a couple additional things before I get to the financial report for year-to-date through November. One, I want to bring to attention that I have laid the annual financial report on each of your areas right there. Kind of review that if you would, and the auditor will be here at our next workshop in February, I think it's February 29th, to do a brief presentation of our financial report for the fiscal year 13-14. Secondly, there is a CTO 253 form that we must fill out whenever we have a bond issue. We did have a bond issue a couple of weeks ago. We issued a $5.4 million bond. We were lucky to get an interest rate of 2.68. That's a very good rate. We were able to maintain our AA rating with Standards & Poor's, and they helped us to get a good rate, the 2.68. But we do have to file this form with the state every year. I mean, anytime we have a bond issue. And so in your packet, I think you have a copy of that form. It shows a breakdown of the interest and principal payments by year and all the associated cost and the total amount of the bond. And that, of course, was the bond that we issued to pay for the ladder truck and road improvements. Now I want to move on to the financial report. This is the financial report year-to-date through the end of November. For the general fund, expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $1.7 million. In our local sales tax, we've collected a little over $2 million. That's about $461,000 better than what we budgeted for this time of the year, and about $258,000 greater than what we had earned at this time last year. In our state street aid fund, expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $166,000. In our stormwater fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $182,000. And in our water sewer fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $1.2 million. The next page represents our balances in our bank accounts. And then the third page represents a comparison to prior year. For the general fund, revenues are up approximately $1.1 million. Expenses are up about $736,000. And in the water sewer fund, revenues are up about $390,000 and expenses are up about $45,000. Tap fees revenues, as compared to this time last year, are up about $39,000. Any questions?
Thank you, Phyllis. Next will be Donna, Library.
Mayor, Vice Mayor Alderman, good evening. For the month of December, we checked out 7,632 items. The attendance in the library, 7,307, with an average per day of 318. We issued 120 new library cards. We had 37 programs with an attendance of 765, and the total computer users were 2,321. In your packet, you will have some of the numbers for 2014. I'd like to go over those, just a few. In 2014, from January until December, we checked out 110,693 items. Attendance in the library, 107,028. We issued 2,179 cards. There were 234 adult programs with an attendance of 2,775. There were 324 children's programs with an attendance of 13,826 and 34,759 computer users. So I'd like to say kudos to a wonderful staff for a great year in 2014. A few things that are going on in January. We do have a representative from Matthew Walker's Health Center's Health Insurance Enrollment Office. They will be at the library every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. until noon and 2 p.m. until 4, and they provide free guidance on enrolling for health insurance through the health insurance marketplace. The open enrollment does close on February the 15th. On Wednesday, January the 14th, Brandon Bond and some other career specialists from the Tennessee Department of Labor is going to be at the library from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., and they're going to be answering questions on where to look for employment. They're going to provide guidance on job searching techniques, and they'll also be providing applications and information on specific employers that are currently hiring for those that are interested. Now, no appointments are needed and no pre-registration is required. The adult and young adult winter reading programs are going to kick off on Saturday, January the 17th, and we will end that program on Saturday, February the 28th. The young adult theme is, do you want to read a book? Now think about the theme a little bit and think about the theme song from Frozen. Do you want to build a snowman? Okay, so this is, do you want to read a book? So Carol and Molly have several fun activities planned for this program. The adult theme doesn't have a song to it, is carry out a good book. And several activities and prizes are going to be based on the all-time favorite carry-out, pizza. So join us for a kickoff on the 17th for more information. Couple of more things. January the 22nd at 6 p.m. we will begin an adult reading group. It's going to be called As the Page Turns. The group will be facilitated by different staff members each month, and for January, I will be the leader, and the book is Little Mercies by Heather Gutenkopf. We'll also be having every Friday during our winter reading program from 9:30 until 11:30, warm up at the library. We'll be offering hot cocoa, coffee, and a free pastry for you just to come into the library, come sit back by the newspapers and the magazines and warm up with us for a little while. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Looks like you're busy. Thank you, Donna. Thomas, water treatment.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, Bruce. What we have here is our summary of November of this year and then comparatively to November of last year. The water plant delivered just under 70 million gallons of water for its customers this month. 6.2 million of that were recovered by the membrane unit from our retention lagoon this month, or in November, which puts the savings from Nashville at a little under 11,000, plus the added cost of reselling the water. Our noteworthy events this month, we had 3 operators that gained some of their state certifications. Mr. Greg Mano is operator 4 at the water plant now. Mr. Jimmy Horn went ahead and got his distribution 2 license, and our new employee, Mark Rader, is our new cross-connection inspector. He's been certified also. Our flushing team visited 12 sites in November, and a little over 300,000 gallons was flushed. Our bacteriological lab approved 2 samples for the distribution on the 2-inch water line improvements, and they had 1 fix repair during the month. Our maintenance for the month was at $7,680, and at the end of November, the balance was $85.60 left in our maintenance fund for the contract year. We had a total of 9 quality calls for the month. 4 were appearance, so 1 was taste and odor, and 1 other, and 3 pressure complaints. And that's usually just everybody, just some of their equipment at their house is getting old and they have to be upgraded. We didn't have any accidents, any reportables during the month of November. We had 40 hours of outside training. One of our guys going to the state certification classes. We're full staff with our 10 employees there. Our definition this month is for rainfall. We watch the rainfall around the plant because all the rainwater goes back into Percy Priest Lake, and we have to retrieve it for the water treatment. So it really affects the quality. Rainwater is alkaline. It's more acidic, so we have to just watch our treatment parts on that. But that's about all I have for the month.
Any questions? Thank you, Thomas. Next be Public Works Department.
Mayor Alderman, good afternoon. Reporting for Garland this month. He's missing out on this lovely weather we're having. He's down in Orlando, so unfortunate for him. The street department had brush removal request calls were 8. Brush removal pickups were 492. Brush removal loads was 27, and pounds was 20,820. The workhouse program hours were 366 and a half. Mowing man hours were 18. They had a total of 91 work orders with a total of 27 overtime. Down to the fleet department, looks like vehicle repair, there were 39. 31 of those were in-house, 8 were outsourced. Oil changes were 28. 10 of those in-house, 18 were outsourced to Valvoline. Excuse me. Tire jobs were 18, brakes were 6, equipment repair there were 2, and overtime hours were 9. Any questions there? I'll do my best to answer them.
Any questions? Thank you.
On the water and sewer, water, we had a total work orders with 107. We had 4 new meter sets. We answered 134 Tennessee 1 calls. We had 1 mainline break, 6 service line breaks, estimated 10,330 gallons of water not sold. Total overtime was 31 for the month. Project AMR, we installed 1,355 meters. I'd like to say thank you to everybody involved with that. It's a big number there for the month of December. On down to sewer department, we had a total of 84 work orders. Service work orders were 54, pump stations were 30. We had 4 final grinder pump inspections. We rebuilt 4 grinder pumps in-house with a total of 17 and a half hours overtime in the sewer department. I'd like to also try to remind everyone to keep that water dripping for the next few days while it's cold outside. We're having a lot of calls today with frozen lines, and we're doing everything we can to help the citizens, but in a lot of cases it's beyond the meter and it's in the yard, and there's just not much we can do. Also, the vents around the house, a lot of them I'm going to, I'm seeing driving by, the vents outside the house are wide open, and that lets air drift come in, and that causes a big problem too. So just remind everyone to check their vents around their house and keep that water dripping. It'll help you out.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Human Resources, Cheryl.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. Here is the report for Human Resources. We had 2 external jobs posted with 56 applicants, a total of 19 job interest cards. Happy to report again, 0 resignations, 0 terminations. 1 workers' compensation claim, 2 liability claims, 73 care here medical appointments, 1 no-show, 276 care here enrollments with 609 employee claims, for a total claim dollar amount of $209,767. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Next to be the presentation, certificates of appreciation for employees of the month. In order.
We are for us to announce that we have some special guests here. I think there's special guests here in the audience that go above and beyond the call of duty. However, it is our job to provide the best medical service possible for the city of Laverne. So approximately 6 p.m., December the 29th, which is a Monday night, Fire Station 3 received a call of a 20-month-old baby not breathing and also was pulseless. They responded along with our Rutherford County EMS Paramedic 9. When they arrived on the scene, we found a pulseless, non-breathing baby, and these guys went to work. For providing our first responder program, we were able to provide basic life support until our Rutherford County paramedic partners arrived on the scene to provide advanced life support. As they worked vigorously through the event, they worked as a team, and we were able to have a successful outcome. We still pray for the individual or the patient to this day. However, we did have a successful resuscitation. With that being said, we'd like to note that these guys have done a very, very good job, and we're very, very proud of them. So, guys, will you come up?
Chad Williams. Thank you. Sam Christopher. Shane Richardson. And Jimmy McDonald.
Also tonight, Jimmy's partner couldn't be here with us tonight, but we'll let you get this to him. Michael Wald, one of the paramedics with Rutherford County EMS, was Jimmy's partner that night on the unit. So I'd like to say, since I can talk a little bit right at this minute, a lot of people don't realize how closely we work with Rutherford County EMS on these calls. Jimmy and his partners here, they do rotations occasionally to change out within our city, but these guys are part of our family as well here in Laverne. We don't look on them any differently than we do our officers and brothers over in the police department. And a lot of times they get overlooked because they're a county agency, but I can assure you, Jimmy McDonald, I've worked many calls with, and they give some of the best level of care along with our first responder gentleman here as well. So, Jimmy, we appreciate everything that y'all do for us over at Ambulance Service. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Next, we'll move on to old business. Ordinance 2014-25, an ordinance to amend Title I, Chapter 1, Section 1-103 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding time change for citizen forum conducted during regular meeting workshops.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second? All say aye.
Aye.
No noes. Carried. Number 5 is consent agenda. Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Need a second?
Second.
Second. All say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All say aye. No nays. Moving on to new business. Motion to approve. A motion to appoint or remove board members. A, Local Emergency Planning Commission, 1 term vacant. I think Catherine Green.
Catherine Green is our new stormwater engineer, and she would be the proper person to appoint to this position.
I'll make the motion to put Kathleen Green. Need a second?
Second.
All approved?
Aye.
Carried. B, Billboard, 2 terms expired, 12/31/14. I think it's Idibble Beach and Kathy Hines. I'll make the recommendation to put them on. Need a second?
Second.
Second. Everybody say aye.
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 Can we do that together like that, or we gotta do separate?
The appointments?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do them together.
Everybody said aye, no nays, carried. C, Greenway Advisory Committee, 1 term expired, 12/31/14. Recommend Edward Jones. I'll make the motion, Edward Jones, second.
Second.
Second. Everybody say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Library Board, 2 terms expired, 12/31/14.
Mayor, on this one, Antonio Cannon has requested to come off of the library board, and Montique Luster would like to stay on the library board, and we have no other applications at this time.
I'll make the motion to put Motique Lester. Need a second?
Second.
Second. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. E, Local Emergency Planning Commission, 6 terms expired, 12/31/14. Mike Walker, Martin Blair, Chris Smith, Thomas Champagne, and Jody Johnson.
And if I may make a note, for the rescue squad, the director, Dana Blair, has requested that Justin Blair be appointed instead of Martin Blair. And then I also just found out tonight that Joey Johnson with the Rutherford County Smyrna Airport Authority has requested to be removed. Apparently they don't have anybody else that could be on the committee. So probably what we'll do is we'll bring this back next month to basically remove that entity from the committee, period, because they don't have anybody else that could represent their organization. So at this point, the recommendation is to appoint Mike Walker, Justin Blair, Chris Schmidt, Thomas Champagne, and I guess remove Joey Johnson.
Need a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion.
to approve.
Got a motion by Calvin, second by...
I'll second.
All say aye.
Aye.
Carried. F, Park and Recreation Advisory Commission, 1 term expires.
Make a motion to appoint Laura Davidson, reappoint Laura Davidson.
Got a motion to reappoint Laura Davidson. Do I have a second? Got a motion, need a second? Not seeing a second, motion fails. Anyone else?
Make a motion to appoint Candace Bounds.
Got a motion of Candace Bounds. Do I have a second?
Well, a little bit of discussion on this, and we're just going out of, I guess typically what we've done, someone who's been on a board, they've worked hard, and I have to say, we can name a few of them that we've already passed up. Laura's worked on that board for 4 years. She's been a part of everything that we've done there, from all of our new events to, and it's no disrespect to the Bounds, don't know her. But it's been difficult. They wanted to go back on. We put them back on. So that's my objection to this.
Got a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call. Calvin?
Aye.
Ms. Green?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
No.
No. And I'll say aye. It passes. Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, 2 terms expired, 12/31/14.
Mayor, on this one as well, Reverend Ezel Garner wished to come off of the committee, and James R. Mosley has requested to stay on the committee.
Motion to appoint James R. Mosley. In a second.
Second.
Second. Everybody say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Stormwater Appeals Advisory Board, 2 terms expired, 12/31/14.
On this one as well, Henry Freeman has requested to stay on the board, and Deborah Edwards has requested to come off of this board.
I'd like to recommend put Henry Freeman.
I second.
Got a second? Everyone say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No. It carries. Moving to first reading, ordinance 2015-01, an ordinance to amend Chapter 20, Title 20, Chapter 2, Section 20-208 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding park and recreation user fee. This, AC, this is just for the tournaments, not for
This is just for tournaments. And yeah, anytime we're going to adjust the user fees, it'll be just for tournaments usually.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Everybody say aye, approve.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 8, motion to approve a monetary agreement with the Regional Transportation Authority for temporary parking and ride at Veterans Park. That's the RTA bus. We had a gentleman that spoke on this earlier and comment. Need a motion to approve to let the bus temporarily pick up people at the Veterans Park. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Got a second?
Second.
Second. All say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Number 9, update on the Independence Day celebration, July 4th, 2015. Is that you, AC?
Yes, sir. I did speak with Mike Moss, director over in Smyrna, and he told me that they are planning on doing theirs on the 3rd. So that frees up the 4th for us, and we want to move forward with that. And, that way we won't be doing it on the same day, and both communities can enjoy a fireworks show on 2 different days.
And that's on a Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Everybody approved?
We don't need a motion.
We don't need one. We don't need one. Okay, number 10, motion to approve a letter of engagement with Bradley, Arant, Boult, and Cummings, LLP.
Motion to approve.
That's the tax and cent financing for the property out there by the interstate. Do I have a motion? Motion, got a second?
Second.
Motion, a second. Everybody say aye, approve.
Aye.
It carries. Well, we're down to Mayor and Alderman's comments. Tom, I'll start with you.
No, sound good.
Calvin?
I was wondering if the citizen was still here about the bus, if the gentleman that was still here.
I don't think so.
The information that we received on that, for whoever might know him and or if he's watching it, the information we received on that was their contract was abruptly pulled from them. Therefore, there probably wasn't enough time for them to do the advertisement. They were in sort of dire straits. It was either assist them with this or lose them altogether. So that's why that decision was made, just for him to know. Thank you.
Melissa?
I'd just like to wish everyone a happy new year, and that I hope that you achieve all your goals this year.
Vice Mayor Green?
I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year, and I hope everybody stays well. Stays wrapped up really good.
I hope everybody had a good holiday. This is our first meeting of 2015, and I hope everybody has a good year. Remember, Saturday, it's the rescue squad's having a ham breakfast. It's from 6 to 10. Everybody needs to come out and support them. and be careful with your water. I think Bruce, he learned that the hard way this morning. Keep your water running, pipes wrapped, doors under your cabinets open, anything you can do in these cold weather. And if you got pets outside, make sure they got water. The water will freeze. You got to check it multiple times a day and make sure they got shelter. And everybody stay healthy and wish everybody a good beginning. And I'll call this meeting adjourned.